Hi, I'm Alyson the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Hello, and welcome to episode 24 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crocheting podcast hosted by me and my mom, Vivian. I'm recording from my home here in Edinburgh.
And I'm recording from my home here in New Hampshire.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Special thanks to all our returning listeners. Thanks for joining us yet again. We try to get these guys out twice a month, and we're pretty good at that. For any of you new listeners who are joining us, so that is our schedule. And hi to you guys as well.
Hello.
How are you doing, Mommy?
I'm fine. I'm getting tired of this cold weather. But we do have a thank you, Ravelry user, Pine Lake Chic, sorry, who is Angie. She said hello in our welcome thread. Hi.
She left a nice little hello message
nice
all about her mom
one.
And her grandma teaching her how to knit and stuff. Yeah,
hopefully she can get her mom to start listening to podcasts too, like you did with me. Those Harry Potter podcasts way back when you were still in high school.
Yeah, the original that I used to listen to. They still make podcasts. They're doing they're rereading the first book right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is weird because, I used to listen to them in high school. And they're still at it.
Yep. You picked, actually Sam picked the BuzzFeed quiz this time around, huh?
Yeah, I was having a look at BuzzFeed quizzes and Sam was sat on the couch and I don't know, he started looking as well. I think, I didn't ask him, but I think he must have been looking for specifically sci-fi quizzes because he showed me two and they were both to do with sci-fi stuff. So he obviously knows our brand of nerd.
Yeah, nerdness.
So the one that it's not really a personality quiz. It's what kind of sci-fi TV geek are you? And it's basically a bunch of like trivia-ish questions.
Yes,
sort of.
Yes, about sci-fi
TV shows.
TV shows. Yep. And I haven't watched. There are some in here that I haven't actually watched. So
yeah, me
I had
too.
to guess. I know more so for you.
Yeah. So what did you get?
I got classic sci-fi geek. A rowdy.
So did I.
Really?
Yeah.
A rowdy Vulcan salute to you, friend. Congratulations, because you are officially a sci-fi whiz. When trivia night rolls around, you're the person everyone wants on their team. You've been loving this genre since before the hipsters came in and tried to claim it as their own. Live long and prosper. And there's a picture of Spock. Old Spock.
Yeah.
The original Spock.
So the one that I definitely didn't know was Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I am aware of it, but I didn't watch it.
Oh, I have no idea what it is.
So it doesn't tell you what's
it doesn't give you the answers.
Yeah, which is kind of...
Because it's not really like a quiz, a right or wrong quiz. It's still a personality quiz, sort of, like the way it's set up. But I'm trying to think which other one. I didn't know the one about Lost.
Which one? Oh, the one about Lost. Yeah, I never watched that show either, so I just said not one clue.
I didn't know the name of Scully's dog in X-Files.
I didn't watch that show, believe it or not.
I guessed. So each question gives you three options plus one. The fourth option is basically I don't know. So I didn't do any I don't knows. I just took a stab in the dark for ones I didn't know.
So I think they made a mistake in one of them, though.
What do you think?
The one, it says, actress Morena Baccarin, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, has appeared in all of the following TV series.
Right.
So there's, first one is, I have no idea, but she's a hottie. And then the second one is Stargate, SG-1, Firefly, and Serenity. And the third one is Stargate, Firefly, and V. She's been in Firefly, Serenity, and V. So it could be either of those two.
But she's also been in Homeland.
Oh, she has?
So I think maybe she's been in a smattering of all of them, but one, two of the options has something that's wrong as well. So has she been in Stargate?
Yes, she's been in Stargate.
Oh, so
maybe she's been in all of them, and it's just with the kind of sci-fi nerd you are.
Oh.
Which one did you pick?
I said V, Homeland, and Lost Girl.
But
I knew she was in Firefly. So but I think I went for it because I don't know. I definitely knew she was in V and Homeland.
I didn't know that she was in Homeland. See, I didn't want. How is Homeland a sci-fi show?
I guess it's not. She plays the wife of the.
I see.
Main guy.
And then you probably got the Fringe one right. I didn't know which one was right.
No, I think I got it wrong.
Really?
Maybe.
There's there's a parallel universe. Is definitely
there's definitely a parallel universe, and then I couldn't.
You couldn't remember any of the other ones? See, I didn't watch it. I just kind of watched it over your shoulder. So
it was a long time ago. Well, relatively. But what was I thinking? You must have gotten the Stargate one.
Oh yeah, I got the Stargate one right.
What was the right answer?
They were parasitic aliens.
Ha! Sam was reading on my shoulder when I was doing that one, and I just had to guess, and I guessed that a race of parasitic beings, but his guess was the spaceships.
Oh.
Hopefully the spaceships. So I went with my guess, and apparently I got it right. But
and then the Joss Whedon.
We're actually.
One. I'm assuming it's The Office.
Yeah, me too. I was just gonna say the first question was about Battlestar Galactica, and Sam and I are watching that right now.
Oh, you are?
I don't think he's super into it. I don't think he's just really into like fantasy and sci-fi stuff. He was commenting on all the books I read. He was like, "You read a lot of things about like," and he was thinking about it. And he couldn't really think of any words for it. He's like stuff that just wouldn't really happen. And I was like, yeah, that would explain the genres I like perfectly. But because he reads more like mystery thrillers, which you like as well.
Yeah. Oh, and I got the last one right as well.
The last one, what was
Revolution. I actually watched that show.
I've not seen that, but I've seen the trailers. I think, but that's I think was that the newest show that?
Yeah, I think so.
That appears on
this thing,
particular quiz.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are still running, like Doctor Who and Homeland. Okay.
Right.
On to our fiber content.
Yes. What you are probably actually here for.
Well, maybe they want to hear about our nerdiness too.
Yeah, I managed to basically squeeze Nerdtastic into the BuzzFeed segment. Aha.
Good job.
Right, so do you have any whips this week?
I do. I'm still plugging away on the bubbly sweater. I haven't gotten very far because it kind of lives next to my bed right now, so I'm only working on it at night when I watch TV because it's just still stockinette going around. And I started a new project by Woolly Wormhead. I bought the whole ebook, and all the designs are based on the last Avatar characters.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's called Elemental, and the
book.
The ebook, yes, and this particular one is called Korra, and in the pattern book, it's the yellow one, and they're all sideways knit.
Okay.
And I'm having a blast. I mean, I literally started this just on Saturday. Sunday. Sunday. I started it 2 days ago, and I'm a third of the way. Can you see it? I feel like I'm painting with yarn.
You're painting with yarn. And why does it feel like you're painting with yarn?
Well, I think it's the combination of the hand-dyed yarns and also this unique or different construction where you're knitting with short rows and you're going up and down from the crown of the hat to the brim, like this. So yeah, it's very addictive.
Do you know what Korra is?
She says Korra is balance. I'm not sure if Korra is actually one of the characters, but because I didn't watch the show. I asked Jillian about it, and she looked at the table of contents, and she's like, "Oh, I recognize some of those names." So I don't know.
No, it says so. The description says that Korra is named for the Avatar in the season 2 of Avatar.
Oh.
Korra's role is to maintain balance, and so this hat not only features aspects of each of the elemental hats, but also provides a chance to create your own version.
Okay. I wonder if I should have started with if this was the least easy one. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at all of that different hats, and they're all really similar, aren't they?
Oh, they all look like they have like kind of leaves or something like that.
Yeah, that's the short row. Then?
Yeah, it's the short row. So I mean, they are similar. It's just the way the leaves are growing, like how many leaves, and I don't know if you want to call them leaves, but I've been calling them leaves.
They do look very like organic and leafy. The one on yours, because the short row bit is smaller, they look more like little pods.
But yeah, so I have this the
Wait, I gotta say something really bad.
What?
They could also be like little sperm heads.
Tadpoles,
yeah.
They're not quite so round. Anyway, the pink I'm using is Madeline Tosh DK. And the purple is this yarn that I found at the yarn store in Brookline. I forget what it's called. I forgot to write it down. But anyway, it's it's like a local dyer, or it's called
Muru Yarns.
Muru Yarns, yes. And well, it's not local. It's from she's from upstate New York, and it's got merino and silk, and just like how the colors are playing with each other right now.
They don't look like colors you would wear together. Well, maybe they are. You do wear a lot of pink.
Yeah, just I was just looking for a DK yarn, and I don't have a whole lot in my stash. And I had this pink, and then I was trying to match with something to go with the pink, and there was nothing I liked except for this purple, so I just went, okay, purple it is. So I do have this limey green color that I also have, and I was hoping to find like a navy blue or royal blue to go with it. For one of the other hats. I think that would look really pretty.
I like the Azula one, the one that looks like fire.
Yeah, that one's pretty. They're all pretty.
Yeah.
Woolly Wormhead has been around for a while. But I've never actually knit any of her hats. At least I don't think I have. Unless there was like a free one a long time ago. But I do remember a long time ago, Brenda Dane, who's like the first ever knitting podcaster. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
She hosted Cast On, and her tagline was "Knit like the wind." I'm pretty sure it was her. Brenda interviewed Woolly Wormhead in one of her episodes, and I think she was an art teacher or something like that, or she was some kind of teacher, and she had dreads or something like that. And her teacher, her students were teasing her, like, "Why do you have worms in your head?" And that's how she got her name, Woolly Wormhead.
Does she only do hats?
As far as I know, she calls herself a hat architect. Because a lot of her hats
that's like
have different,
one of those like
interesting
creative job titles you put on your resume instead of like I don't know.
Instead of what? Instead of
I'm trying to think of somebody they know that's got like one of those funny job titles, like happiness engineer, instead of something else, HR specialist. I don't know. Anyway,
happiness engineer. That's a good one.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's probably not exactly.
So do you have any whips?
I do. So last time I talked about the blur shawl. So I'm still working on that. And that's the one that's the designer is Deanne Ramsey of Addie Day Designs. And the idea is that it's one of those fadey ones where mostly people use hand-dyed yarns and all the colors fade into each other. So I'm doing the smaller version, and it is quite large. it has 5 different colors. So I'm just working on the 5th one now. When we spoke last time, was it last time? I posted it on Instagram, but basically I was doing the 2nd color and I'd bought 2 mini skeins to do it. And I just knew I was going to run out of yarn. And Sam was sat next to me and he's like, just stop. You're going to run out. You're going to run out. You're going to run out. I was like, I don't know. Like, I might just keep going and just see if I run out. Because she suggests if you don't have enough yarn, you can just omit one of the rows, but not one of the rows where you're fading. Mm-hmm. You have to omit a row where it's still just the solid block of color. So I'd have to rip back the fade rows back to the solid block to sort of get rid of a row so that I'd have enough yarn. And I don't know why, but I just insisted on just carry on. So I don't know. I just thought maybe you'll have enough. I even looked up Faye from the Crochet Circle in episode 22. She talked about, she calculated how much yarn you needed for when you're playing Yarn Chicken. And I think for what I was doing for single crochet 4-ply, I needed to have 9 times the length of the single crochet row. So I was looking at how much of this one last row I had to do, and I only had like 6 lengths of yarn left, but I decided to keep going anyway. And I literally was about 2 inches short. I posted a picture on Instagram, and I was doing it during lunch at work, and my heart was actually like beating out of my chest. I was so nervous, even though I knew I was going to run out. I thought I was going to be sick. But then as I was nearing the end, I remembered I swatched with that yarn because I wanted to preview some of the color changes. So I just ripped out some of that swatch and it was fine.
Hey!
So in the end, it was fine.
You won the chicken race.
Yes. Well, I mean, if I hadn't had that, I wouldn't have, and I would have been really sad. I don't know if I would have ripped it back. I might have just fudged it and just done the color change.
I actually saw
early.
that your colorway. So okay, I remember the name of the yarn store. It's called Uncommon Yarn, and they actually had your Ching fiber in Brookline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ching fiber.
Yeah, they had some, and they had the one with the peachy bluey.
The soft gray colorway is the one I'm using.
They had that one.
So yeah, it goes from white to like a coral peach to the quote unquote soft gray, which is actually like a blend of a bunch of different colors. To like a bright blue, which is like doing a lot of color pooling, and then now I'm working on like a mint green. So
very nice.
I'll have to admit, I feel like I was. What is the woman from the Stranded podcast?
Amy,
yeah, you were excited to meet her at the Yarn Festival. She was wearing a really like kooky cardigan that had a bit of mint and the coral together. I really like that, so it's kind of why I've got the mint and coral along with a lot of other colors. But it was kooky, but I liked it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm nearly done, which is good because I'm also going to be submitting this to Earl Grey Crochet's Blur Along, which runs until the end of the month. So I definitely will finish. It's good.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing
anything else?
Yeah. I also started my pleated cardigan.
Oh, you did? Oh, wait, I did see. Yeah. I saw your swatches on Instagram.
Yeah, so cause I did the swatch, and I think I talked about it last time as well. I was freaking out because I couldn't get the tension right, but then I realized, I should block it and then measure it. So I did that, and so I've started. I'm not getting very far. I'm still just working the first piece, which is the back. And I posted this to Instagram as well because I didn't do it right the first time around.
Oh no!
I got into the first. There's instructions for the first 22 rows or something like that. And then you just carry on from there until you've got the right measurements. I did the first 22 rows, and I just looked at it, and it was just wrong. It wasn't increasing. It just didn't make any sense, and I didn't know how to carry on from there. And I was definitely agonizing over it. I was pretty upset. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and like I don't know how to fix it, and I can't make garments, and every time I do this, it's just wrong, and I just can't. So I ripped it out because I didn't know what I needed to do to fix it, but I knew that what I had done was wrong. So I ripped it out and I thought about it some more and I figured it out. And I don't think it was entirely my fault that I couldn't figure it out. I saw somebody else's picture on Ravelry and it looked like possibly she had done the same thing I did, so there's short rows and I wasn't going to the end of the row entirely before I worked on the row below.
Well, is that what you do when you do short rows?
Yeah, but so basically when I read the pattern, there's a bit where it says that your starting chain 3 or whatever counts as a double crochet. And the stitch pattern is worked where it's paired double crochet. So 2 double crochets are kind of like 1 stitch. So in the row below, there was the chain, and then there was you do the chain, and then you do a double crochet, and then in parentheses or something, it says this counts as your first paired, your first stitch. So I thought it was saying that the first stitch was the chain plus the double crochet, but I think the first stitch was just the single double crochet.
So it's a little ambiguous the way it's worded.
Yeah, so I was just putting my stitches in the wrong place because I wasn't considering the stitches in the correct way. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I think that there was maybe an additional comma or something could have helped. And would have saved me a lot of grief.
But well, so in the end, you figured it out, so that's all that counts.
Yeah, in the end, I have figured it out. So the only thing is now I've gotten to the end of the short rows, and it just says to just do the stitches until it measures, however long this way and however long that way. But surely that measurement is as it's blocked?
Most likely.
So I don't really know how I should do that. So should I just calculate how many rows that is according to the gauge?
I don't know, because I usually just, when I'm knitting something, I go by what's on the needle, not necessarily what it would be if it was blocked.
But wait, say that again?
So when I'm knitting a sweater and it says knit 12 inches, I knit 12 inches what's on the needle, not necessarily what would be 12 inches after it's blocked.
Do you think that's what you're meant to do?
I have no idea.
And I suppose, because I feel like with this in particular, I have to stretch it a bit to get gauge. Okay, so if anyone has any idea what I should do in this case for a crochet garment, that would be good to know. I could just also ask in the Ravelry bit. Because now I'm nervous. I don't want to get it wrong again. I want it to fit.
Well, it seems to be more fitted than like a baggy sweater, so.
Yeah, it's not super fitted because it doesn't close. It's not written. It's written as an open sort of cardigan.
Decisions.
Yeah. Anyway, so those are my 2 whips.
Okay, so not too much. Well, how big is your piece on the cardigan piece?
It's not super big, but I've done a lot of the blur shawl.
And that thing's huge.
It is very big. I forgot I was going to measure it before we record it just to see if I'm on track to be the same as the pattern or bigger or smaller or what, because it is so big for a small version, but I think it is meant to be quite large anyway. And I did, swatched, and I went a half a millimeter hook size down because I didn't want it to be super uber massive. Anyway, do you have any FOs?
I do. I finished my Piri floors. It's a little big.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah. So
I can't imagine being quick with all the color work, it's like magic.
It is a little bit like magic. So it's a little tall for my head, and Madeline says I look like a minion when I'm wearing it.
Like a minion? They don't even wear hats.
No, like pillow shape. My head looks like it's pillow shape.
Oh, it doesn't slouch.
No, it's kind of stiff, so it's not very good at slouching. Let me see if I can't find the pictures that she took of me. She took a picture of me driving with it on so I can show you. But if I were to show you, I'd have to take all my stuff off.
Okay, well, we can include a picture on the podcast, on the video version of you with your pill-shaped head.
So because it's, it's not very floppy, it's stiff.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking maybe I should make like a tassel coming from the top, and then it'll like weigh it down.
So like weigh it down.
Yeah.
Will a tassel weigh it down that much?
If you put weights in the tassel.
I
don't know. But it'll be better than nothing. Do you want to see on my head?
Sure. Yeah, it just sticks straight up.
Okay, I didn't hear what word you said.
I said it just sticks straight up.
So, like, I'll push it like I was wearing it the other day. I kept pushing it down, but eventually it goes and it starts sticking up again. So...
Would a pom-pom weigh it down more? Or would a pom-pom
but then
hide all the color work?
Then you won't be able to see all the pretty color work up there. So, yeah, I'll try the tassel first.
You definitely do something because... You look pretty stupid.
Thanks. So that was my only FO, and I finished that. I finished that shortly after we recorded last time, and then blocked it, and took me a long time to weave in all those ends. Yeah, that was not a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I didn't mention it. The whips, but I'm still working on that blanket, and kind of weaving in the ends as I go. But I just need to do the border now. So it's still a whip, but I've been working on that, which is why I thought I might have the blur shawl as an FO, but because that stewed blanket's been lying on the living room floor, and Sam's just like every day he's like, "You're gonna finish it today, right? You're gonna finish it today, right?" So I do have an FO, but it's nothing exciting. I made placemats for...
Oh, how cute.
They're just with, t-shirt yarn.
Oh,
like a
cool.
Washed navy. Just because we have these really ugly placemats that were in the flat when we moved in. So I wanted something a little nicer because we do sometimes have guests around for dinner because we're fancy adults and we do dinners. It's just a free pattern. It's the Corpy placemat by Katrine Birkenwasser, who's a Finnish knitwear designer, and she doesn't like crochet. She wrote a blog post about it, but she thought that this would make more sense to be crocheted, and I actually didn't really. She has it in English, but I don't know. I kind of just looked. I mean, it's really basic, so I just sort of looked at hers and just winged it. I winged it. I wung it.
You winged it.
What? I winged it.
You wung it.
And so where I've done the increases or turned it is slightly different than hers. But
did you buy the yarn specifically for that project, or did you have it lying around? So you bought more yarn.
No. Well, I bought it a while ago
because
I had planned it and I just hadn't gotten around to doing it yet. Yeah, you actually used some of it to finish.
Oh, the drawstring.
One of your your drawstring bags.
Oh, okay.
I can get 2 placemats out of one
ball.
One ball, plus a little bit of extra. So I'm using the bit of extra from each to do
coasters.
Not a coaster. I'm just doing a single
trivet.
Yeah.
Pot holder.
Which actually I wasn't sure. It says I think it's 70 or 80% cotton, and then the rest is just mixed fibers. Is that okay to put a hot pot on?
It probably. I mean, if it melts, it'll only be 30% melted.
Okay. I mean, I figured that would be like enough cotton content for it to be fine.
Yeah, but if you smell, burning plastic, I would maybe not put a hot pot on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't really get that much knitting done. Last week was spring break for Jessie.
Madeline?
No, for Jessie.
Oh.
Your cousin Jessie, my niece Jessie. So she spent the week with me. And so, yeah, not a lot of sewing / knitting done last week because not that she needs to be entertained. She's 16. But, I didn't want her to just like hang out at home and do nothing all day long. So I would just do a little sewing while she was still sleeping because she didn't wake up until like 11 or noon. And we went to the mall.
Just you and her?
There were a couple days was just me and her. And then Jennifer, who's also your cousin, she was the one who drove her up because she's a teacher and she had the same spring break and she wanted to spend the break with her boyfriend who lives in Boston. But since he worked during the week, she would hang out with us during the week, and then on the weekend she was with the boyfriend. So, so sometimes it was the three of us, sometimes it was just the two of us. We visited kittens. There was two litters of kittens. They were so cute.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just thought of something about my border shawl that I forgot to say.
What?
I was just working on it before we started recording, and the way you do it is, you do a row of one color and then a row of another color on top of it. But then you have to go back to instead of turning the way you normally would, you go back to where you left off with the other color. When you're not working on it, you need to put a stitch marker in it to stop it from unraveling. And I must have forgotten.
Oh no!
And I'd gotten like most of the way through the row that was on top of it, but then got up and ripped out the row that was below it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Because it was just like I just pulled out a row in the middle of the work, and the row on top of it was like kind of like still half dangling there. It was really annoying. Sorry, but that was all. So remember to not do that.
I guess you could do that in crocheting too. Yeah, you were having problems with your short rows, and I'm having fun with my short rows. So, have you done anything interesting lately?
No. Nothing. I've just been sat here doing absolutely nothing.
You've been sat here doing nothing?
I mean, not really, but... Do you have yarny bits and bobs?
Not real. Oh, actually, I do. So the day that we had to drop Jessie off, we went to Natick, Massachusetts, and there is a fabric store there. It's called the Fabric Basement. They also have yarn, but it's mostly fabric. They have, quilting fabrics and upholstery fabrics. And I was, picking out my fabrics, and I also wanted to look at the yarns. But, of course, your dad was there, and he kept saying, "I'm not rushing you. I'm not rushing you." And I'm like, "Stop hovering." And he would pull these things out like, "Oh, this is cute. This is really cute." I was like, "Yes, it's very cute, but I can't use that for my shop." Or, "That's really cute, but, I don't like whatever, blah, 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 blah." And he's just like following.
That's cute, but I don't like it.
Following. Well, I mean, there's certain things I like, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can make a bag out of it,
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're worse than your dad. Oh my gosh. Just like, can't you just find a spot and just sit and just leave me alone? And he's like, well, if I did that, we'd be here for hours. Like, when I come by myself, I'm only there for half an hour. So he was like, I've got things that I want to do.
I thought you weren't rushing me.
So, I bought a few cute things, but I bought this fabric. I couldn't resist this fabric.
What is it?
It's
put your big girl panties on and deal with it.
It's like clothesline with panties hanging on off of it, and I thought that was so cute.
What are you gonna make bags out of it?
I'm gonna make bags out of it. I like the colors, and I like what it says. Put your big girl panties on and deal with it. Because sometimes I just want to say that to people. Just suck it.
Speaking of which, do you have any shop updates? I'm just jumping all over the place, it would seem.
Yeah, not really, because I had Jessie here, and your sister right now is sick. And
okay, so never mind that.
Yeah,
cut that out.
But I did finish the Scotland bag.
Are they listed?
I haven't. Well, it will be listed when this goes out. It came out really nice.
We talked about it last week.
We talked about the fabric, but I didn't actually.
That you bought, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And actually, do you know the one building on the tea towel with all the Scotland themed
Did you see it in Glasgow?
I did. I saw it in Glasgow because Zebra Kitten commented on our video and explained what it was. It's called. It's at the Scottish Exhibition Centre campus, whatever. And it's the armadillo. And I saw it today because I went to Glasgow for work.
Why is it called armadillo? Because it looks like an armadillo?
It looks like an armadillo, yeah.
Okay. Well, you saw it. So you've seen all the landmarks.
It looks more like an armadillo than the egg in Albany looks like an egg.
Oh.
Because the egg in Albany does not look like an egg. It looks like a flying saucer.
You're going to have to put a picture of the egg.
Of the egg, yeah. It looks like a flying saucer. It is the oddest building.
Or like a bowl.
Yeah, like a bowl, but it the top is concave. Convex?
Oh, convex. It is. Yes, you're right.
So it's not really like a bowl, unless the bowl has
a
big mountain of rice on it.
Yeah, a bowl with mashed potatoes in it.
Okay, so I actually have a Mommypedia this week.
Okay.
Are you prepared to answer it?
As best I can, like always. I mean, I don't have all the answers.
You don't? So, my question was, well, what the sort of typical yardage of different weights of yarn would be. So if you bought like 100 gram skein of four ply yarn, or sock weight, or DK.
I have this chart in front of me. It says if you have 100 grams of fingering or 4-ply, you'd have 370 to 460 yards. I mean, obviously it depends on if it's fingering, light fingering. There's always variations even within the weight, and also the fiber content. Certain fibers are heavier than others.
So wait, say that number again. It was
370 to 460.
So like 400-ish if you went in the middle yards.
Yeah, maybe 100. Yeah, I mean, and that's actually pretty conservative because I have some fingering weight that has a lot of more yardage than that. I mean, more than 400. So yeah, it depends on the fiber, mostly the fiber content and how it was spun and stuff. But how they come up with, I don't know what, there's no standard, international standard. So like what we call fingering weight, how you find that is how many wraps per inch. So 18 to 20 wraps. Like if you wrap a stick or a ruler, you wrap your yarn around the ruler, and if you can count how many wraps per inch, if it's between 18 and 20, that's fingering weight. And if it's between 15 and 17, that's sport. So is that just a general rule of thumb? Yeah, that's the general rule. But of course, there's overlap too. Yeah. So, your best bet is just to swatch. I don't really know why that was my question. I feel like that's just a thing some people just know. I'm not really good about that. I feel like some people can look at, oh, this project needs, I don't know,
950 yards. I need to buy blank number of skeins.
Well, yeah, there are people that are good at that, but I'm not one of them. I always have to look at my notes and see what the designer says for yardage. And there is this fancy app called... Oh, did I get rid of it? It's called... Oh, no, I didn't. It's called StashBot.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose for crochet it's different. So if you want... Let's say you want to do a hat, and then you give the size. So the size would be in the hedge circumference, let's say 22 inches, and what the gauge of yarn you're going to be using. So let's say it's the gauge, stitches per inch, sorry. Let's say it's 5 stitches per inch, and it says estimated required yards is 125. See? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
can you do that backward? No. So when would that be useful? Would that be more useful if you were thinking about doing your own design?
No, it's like if you're at the store and you're like, oh, I really like this yarn, but I don't have a pattern in mind, but I'd like to make a sweater, and you can
Can you do that without the stitches per inch? Like, what if you don't know?
I mean, you have a guideline what the stitches per inch is on the ball band. They usually will say, or if, right? Or if you know it's a fingering weight, you know it's between this and this or that.
I feel like this is more useful for the knitters.
Yeah, it's probably true. It is for...
Because my other question that I was maybe going to ask another day was about, like, how much yarn you would need for, like, different types of project, but I suppose that would be different for knitting or crocheting, like, you know. And I guess your StashBot thingy would work for that. Like, I want to buy sweaters quantity because, yeah, if I didn't know what I was making, I would literally look at a pile of yarn and be like, I don't know how much I need. Probably just all of it. I just need to buy all of it.
Well, that's why it's good to do research first and figure out what pattern you want and you want to crochet. Because I couldn't tell you how much you would need for crochet. I mean, I have a hard enough time figuring out what I need for knitting.
Yeah.
So crocheting is a different animal.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that was my MOMMYPEDIA.
Okay. I hope I helped. Do you have any favorite things this time?
No.
No? This is going to be a short episode, huh?
Okay.
Nerdtastic.
So I saw Ready Player One.
You did? Did you like it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I did. I've read the book.
Oh, you did?
A little while ago.
Is it a YA
less than
book?
a year ago. No.
It's not?
No, I think it's just regular sci-fi.
I didn't know that.
But a lot of the criticism of the book is that, like, there's a lot of references and, like, the author just obviously adores the 80s and just assumes that you will too, and his writing can be a bit clunky as he's just, like, sort of just, like, listing all these things.
Like what things? Like bands
I don't even know. I think
I
read an article. Yeah, I read an article which I think specifically was talking about the virtual, the car that he had built, and, you know, it was based off of the Back to the Future. What's it? I'm completely blanking on everything.
The car that goes like this, that opens.
Yeah, with the door. Yeah, but, you know, like so he's talking about that, and, like, you know, he's fitted it with this piece, which is, like, comes from this book, and this piece, which comes from that film, and then it's got this, which is that, and blah blah blah, and, like, it just, like, lists all these things. It's like there's really no point to it, and anyway, so the book can be a bit heavy with those sorts of references, and it sort of assumes that you will take as much joy from that as the author does or the character does. But no, I liked it a lot. And for anyone who doesn't know what it is, it's basically it's sort of dystopian future where, you know, the Earth's resources have become depleted and people sort of escape in this virtual reality game to live out their lives as they wish they could, because they can do anything in this world. And then the creator dies and creates this big quest, and whoever solves the quest owns
Gets to run
the oasis, gets to run this virtual world and become a bajillionaire.
Sounds kind of like The Matrix, sort of like Matrixy. Except they don't know that they're in a virtual world,
this is people know, but it makes a lot of changes from the book, like both plot wise and otherwise. I don't know, and I think changes for the better. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Did Sam like it?
It's a fun movie. Yeah, I think Sam liked it as well.
Did you have to drag him?
No. Okay. We don't go to the movies very often. Although I think when we do go to the movies, it's generally because I want to see a movie. So I think the last movie we saw was Black Panther with you guys, and before that was Wonder Woman. So they're definitely my picks. But he sometimes sees movies without me, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, he does have a more
and then there are movies that I wanted to see anyway. Like, he went to see Dunkirk and Star Wars, and I was like, what?
Oh, on Netflix, they just released Lost in Space. I want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet. And we were going to watch it the other night. Your dad was home. I was like, oh, Lost in Space was originally a TV show in the 60s, early 70s. I don't remember exactly when, but by the time I was a kid, it was an old show, and it used to be on reruns in the afternoon. And I would watch it, and of course, my brother really, really loves sci-fi, so he was really into it. And then they did a remake in 2000 something, 8, 7, I don't know, with what's his face, Joey from Friends, and it bombed. And
was it as a movie?
Matt LeBlanc. It was a movie. And William Hurt was in it also, and Mimi Rogers. But anyway, it didn't do very well. So this is a remake, and it sounds pretty interesting. So I want to watch it. We were going to watch it.
Is it a Netflix series?
It's a Netflix series,
like TV show.
Yeah, and we were just watching TV in bed, and I said, oh, we should watch that Lost in Space. And your dad's like, oh, okay. I was like, but it's on Netflix, so we have to either go upstairs or go downstairs, because we can't get Netflix on the TV in our bedroom. And he just looked at me. He's like, I'm not moving. So we didn't watch it.
So you've not watched it yet?
No, so I'll probably
There was actually a trailer for it before Ready Player One.
Oh, really?
It was interesting for a Netflix TV series. And obviously I don't know anything about it, but I do know the iconic Danger Will Robinson.
Yes,
so as soon as I heard that, I was like,
that one. Yeah, so that was a show from my childhood. I'm anxious to watch that, and also, of course, Avengers next week comes out.
Nice.
Yep.
Right. Well, we don't have any shop talk this week.
No, I haven't really been sewing that much because cousins and sick children, sick child, and all that fun stuff.
Okay. Shall we say goodbye? I'm actually getting really hot.
You're hot?
I'm really hot.
You're practically wearing like a summer dress, I
know. This is crazy. Scotland. I'm hot.
Yeah, we were cold. It was raining ice yesterday morning, and the car was coated in ice. I mean, I had to I had to break the ice to get into the car. So it was not fun.
In April, mid-April.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to go through my spiel. Yeah?
Okay, go for it.
Okay. You can find our show notes on our website at kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. So if you're just listening along, we've got all our pictures of all the projects we're talking about and everything. Or you can also, or you should rather, follow our Instagram account, which is just KCACY Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on iTunes or
Podbean,
Overcast, Podbean, Spotify, whatever, or if you're watching on YouTube. And you can also join our Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn Podcast on the Groups tab, and you can join in on our BuzzFeed quiz thread, and you can tell us what kind of sci-fi nerd you are, even though we gave away all the questions and the answers. Maybe you just didn't listen. I don't know. And you could just take the quiz and tell us anyway. Or be really honest and put down the answers that you would have put if you hadn't heard us talking about all the answers.
Well, in some of those questions, there's more than one correct answer, so...
We think.
There's that.
Or something. We're confused. Anyway, so thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.